The starship Odyssey drifted quietly above the surface of the uncharted planet. Its hull glinted under the faint light of a distant sun, reflecting the strange bioluminescent forests that spread below like rivers of living light. Captain Elias Varn leaned against the command console, watching the planet spin slowly in the viewport. "This place is beautiful," murmured Lieutenant Mara, his second-in-command pointing at the glowing trees. "Like nothing we've ever seen," Elias nodded, "and likely hiding things we don't want to meet." His voice carried both caution and curiosity. That was the dual nature of every human explorer. Humans thrived on danger and discovery in equal measure. The landing party descended to the planet's surface, stepping into the soft, glowing undergrowth. Every footfall made the luminous plants sway like ocean waves. The air smelled sweet, almost like a garden, but with a metallic tang that reminded them they were not on Earth. For hours they explored. Strange insects with translucent wings darted around them. Rivers shimmered with fluorescent water. Then, as the sun began to set, a figure appeared ahead, a humanoid silhouette standing perfectly still among the glowing ferns. "Hold your fire," Elias said, raising a hand. "We don't know what or who that is." The figure stepped forward, revealing itself more clearly. She was humanoid, but her skin shimmered with faint iridescent patterns. Her large eyes reflected the bioluminescent forest glowing softly. She had long, flowing hair that seemed to float slightly, as if moved by an invisible current. "I am Lyra," she said, not with her mouth but inside their minds. Elias stumbled back, startled. The voice was calm, melodic, and somehow reassuring. A telepathic connection? Humans had theorized about species capable of mental communication, but meeting one was entirely different. Elias took a cautious step forward. "I'm Captain Elias Varn of the Starship Odyssey. We come in peace." Lyra tilted her head. "I know who you are, Elias. I have known your kind for many cycles." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. How could she possibly know them? Lyra raised her hand slowly. "Do not fear. I mean no harm. I am curious about your species. You are different, strong, adaptable, clever." "Different can be dangerous," Mara muttered under her breath. Elias shot her a look, warning her not to speak aloud. Lyra smiled, or at least her expression resembled one. "Perhaps, but different also means potential. You will help me, Elias." Elias blinked. "Help you? How?" She stepped closer, her eyes locking on his. A strange warmth filled his chest. It was not fear or attraction, but something deeper, like recognition, like a connection he could not explain. "You are chosen," she said softly. The crew froze. "Chosen for what?" Elias asked, cautious but intrigued. Lyra's gaze swept over the humans. "For partnership. For life, my people. We survive through bonds. And I have chosen you." Elias's mind raced. This was no ordinary alien greeting. It sounded ceremonial, profound, and incredibly important. He glanced at his crew. They all looked equally stunned, unsure how to react. Over the next few hours, Lyra guided them to a clearing where the forest glowed brightest. She explained the basic principles of her people, peaceful, intelligent, and deeply connected to the life around them. They formed bonds through mental resonance, a shared awareness of emotion, thought, and purpose. Selecting a partner was not merely romantic. It was a sacred duty, a choice made for survival and legacy. Elias listened carefully. Humans had always prided themselves on adaptability, courage, and empathy. Could those traits be the key that made them compatible with Lyra's species? The sun dipped below the horizon and the forest erupted in light. Small floating creatures glided through the air like living lanterns. Lyra gestured to them. "Life here is intertwined. Every being contributes. You humans could also contribute, in ways no one else can." Elias took a deep breath. "I don't fully understand, but I want to learn." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Good, you must. The bond I offer is not just for me, but for my people, and perhaps for yours as well. Together, we can achieve things your kind has only dreamed of." As the night deepened, the crew set up a temporary camp near the clearing. The alien forest pulsed with energy around them, yet the humans felt a sense of calm rather than danger. For the first time in their exploration, they sensed the true potential of this world, not just in resources or knowledge, but in connection. Over the following days, Elias and Lyra spent time together. They navigated the glowing forests, solved environmental puzzles, and even survived a sudden storm of crystal-like spores that fell from the sky. The crew watched as the two adapted to one another's abilities and thought processes. Lyra could sense intentions, while Elias could think quickly and adapt to challenges. Together they became more than human and alien. They became a team. One evening, as they rested near a glowing river, Lyra spoke again, her voice echoing in Elias's mind. "Elias, I have told you I chose you. There is something more you must know." Elias's heart pounded. "Go on, my people." We continue our line through chosen partners. It is not only spiritual, it is biological. Our children are rare, unique, and strong. You have been chosen to be the parent of the next generation. Elias's mind reeled. "You mean babies?" He struggled to reconcile the idea with the gravity in her voice. Lyra's gaze was steady. "Yes, but not just any children. They will carry traits from both our species. You have been chosen because your kind can contribute qualities that are vital for survival and growth." The crew, overhearing through the telepathic link, whispered among themselves. Shock, confusion, awe, they all felt it. But Elias's mind focused. This was a responsibility unlike any other. Humans thrived on challenge. Humans thrived on the unknown, and this was beyond anything he had imagined. Elias looked into Lyra's glowing eyes. "I accept," he said finally. I will do this. For your people, for your world, and for the future." Lyra's smile widened slightly. "Then we begin." The weeks that followed were filled with exploration, learning, and preparation. Elias and his crew studied Lyra's planet, its ecosystems, and its culture. They encountered other members of her species, curious, cautious, and respectful of Lyra's choice. Humans were different, yes, but humans were capable. Through trial and error, laughter, and shared challenges, Elias began to understand the depth of the bond Lyra spoke of. It was not about possession or control. It was about partnership, mutual respect, and the responsibility to protect and nurture life. As Part 1 closes, the humans stand on the edge of a new frontier, not just a new world, but a new understanding of what it means to be human in a universe filled with wonders and possibilities. Elias, chosen and honored, looks at Lyra, knowing that the journey ahead will test every skill, every value, and every human strength, but that together, they may achieve something extraordinary. The stars above seem closer now, not distant and cold, but alive with potential. Humanity has been chosen for a challenge, and Elias is ready. The floating city of Lyra's people shimmered above the glowing oceans, suspended on vast crystalline pillars that glinted in the sunlight. Elias and his crew stepped off their shuttle, blinking against the bright reflections. The air here was clean, charged with energy and humming softly as if the city itself were alive. "This is incredible," Lieutenant Mara whispered. "I've never seen technology like this." Lyra led them through corridors of transparent crystal. Inside, the walls reflected shifting patterns of light, displaying information, history, and art simultaneously. Every step Elias took felt like walking through a living memory. "Welcome to the heart of my people's culture," Lyra said, her telepathic voice calm. "Here we live in harmony with knowledge, nature, and one another. You will need to understand this world fully before our bond can deepen." Elias nodded. Humans had always been able to adapt to new environments quickly, but this was beyond anything they had trained for. And yet curiosity pushed him forward. They were led to a large chamber where several members of Lyra's species awaited. They had long, elegant limbs, glowing eyes, and subtle patterns on their skin that shifted like liquid light. The moment Lyra introduced Elias, the aliens bowed their heads slightly, a gesture of respect. "Elias of the humans," Lyra said aloud, "you must undergo the trials of understanding. Only through these trials will our bond be recognized fully by my people." Elias felt a surge of both pride and tension. Humans thrived on challenge. They had crossed planets, survived unknown dangers, and solved problems that no other species could. Still, he sensed these trials would test more than strength. They would test heart, mind, and spirit. The first trial was called the Test of Insight. Elias was guided into a room where holographic landscapes shifted constantly. Each scene presented a moral or emotional dilemma: a species struggling to survive, a community in conflict, a dangerous storm threatening lives. Elias had to respond, not with force but with understanding, empathy, and decision-making that balanced all sides. At first he hesitated, unsure what would impress these alien beings. But then he remembered every lesson humanity had taught him. Empathy, logic, and creativity were strengths, not weaknesses. He chose solutions that protected life, considered consequences, and built trust between conflicting parties. When he emerged, Lyra's people nodded approvingly. "You see beyond what is immediate," one of them said telepathically. "You understand the weight of choice. This is rare." The second trial, the test of adaptability, was far more physical. Elias found himself in a rapidly changing environment. One moment a scorching desert, the next a dense jungle, then a freezing tundra. He had to navigate, survive, and find his way to a beacon in each terrain. Humans were known for their ingenuity, and Elias relied on it fully. He improvised tools, used local resources, and even communicated with small native creatures who helped him find safe paths. Lyra watched silently, her eyes glowing softly. "You adapt quickly," she said. "You see solutions where others see danger. This is why I chose you." The final trial was the most challenging, the trial of resonance. Elias had to connect with Lyra telepathically, matching thoughts, emotions, and intentions in a synchronized rhythm. It required complete trust, vulnerability, and mental discipline. At first, it was disorienting. Thoughts, images, and feelings flowed into his mind from Lyra and the room itself. He saw her memories, her joys, her fears, and the history of her people. It was overwhelming, but Elias focused on empathy, grounding himself in humanity's capacity to understand and connect with others. Slowly, a rhythm emerged. Their minds moved as one, thoughts aligning in harmony. Lyra smiled. "You have passed. You are worthy, not only in mind and body, but in spirit." The crew erupted in quiet celebration. They had never imagined humans could bond so deeply with a completely alien species. But Elias had done it. Humans were resilient, adaptable, and capable of forming connections that others could not. Over the next few days, Elias and Lyra explored the city together. They visited learning halls where knowledge flowed freely, experienced cultural ceremonies celebrating life and nature, and interacted with other members of her species. The crew marveled at the harmony, even as they struggled to understand every nuance. Lyra explained the significance of her earlier confession. "The children I spoke of will carry traits from both our species. Intelligence, empathy, adaptability, and abilities beyond what either species can achieve alone. They will be the bridge between our worlds." Elias's mind raced. Humanity had always dreamed of exploring the stars. But this was a deeper kind of exploration, the birth of a new kind of life, a symbol of cooperation and potential. "Humans have always adapted," Elias said aloud. "We survive, we learn, and we grow. I want to make sure these children have the best chance with everything we can offer." Lyra reached out, her hand brushing his. Though their physiology was different, the gesture felt familiar and grounding. "Together, we can prepare a future where both our species thrive. But you must also teach your people. Knowledge and understanding must spread beyond this city." Elias nodded. Humans had a history of learning quickly and spreading knowledge. He imagined a future where humans and Lyra's people worked together, sharing technology, culture, and wisdom across worlds. The thought filled him with hope. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the glowing ocean, Elias sat with Lyra near a floating garden filled with luminescent flowers. "Tell me more about your people's rituals," he asked. "I want to understand everything. I want to honor your traditions." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "We honor life in all forms. Our children are born through careful planning, not chance. The parent must be chosen carefully, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And the union is always a partnership built on trust, respect, and shared responsibility." Elias thought of humans' own values, trust, respect, responsibility, and realized they were not so different. "Then I will learn. I will do whatever is needed to be ready." Days turned into weeks. Elias underwent training in alien biology, culture, and environmental management. The crew assisted in mapping the oceans and forests, studying alien technology, and learning the art of sustainable living in the city. Each day brought new challenges, but humans rose to meet them. They adapted, improvised, and learned quickly. Through it all, Elias and Lyra grew closer, not just in purpose, but in understanding. They shared silent moments in the garden, discussing philosophy, history, and dreams for the future. Humans had always been explorers, but now he realized that exploration was also about connection, bridging species, ideas, and hearts. Then one morning Lyra led Elias to the Hall of Ancestry, a vast chamber filled with holographic representations of her people's ancestors. Here we honor the lineages that came before us. Soon, your line will join ours, creating a legacy that is both human and alien. Elias felt a deep sense of responsibility. I understand. I won't fail you or your people. Lyra placed her hand on his arm. You have already proven yourself worthy. But the future is not without challenge. You and I together must ensure it succeeds, Elias smiled. We will. Humans don't back down from challenges, and neither will I. As part 2 closed, Elias looked out over the crystalline city, the glowing oceans, and the bioluminescent forests. Humanity had already achieved much in the stars, but this union, this bond, was something entirely new. A bridge between worlds, a promise for the future, and a testament to what humans could accomplish when they combined courage, intellect, and empathy. Lyra stood beside him, her glowing eyes reflecting hope and anticipation. Are you ready for the next step? She asked. Elias nodded. More than ever. Together they faced a future full of unknowns, challenges, and possibilities. A future where humans and aliens could create something greater than either species alone. A hybrid legacy that would shine across the stars. The orbiting settlement above Lyra's planet was alive with activity. Crystal towers reflected the twin moons, and ships of both human and alien design moved seamlessly between docks. Humans and Lyra's people had built something remarkable together, a city designed not only for survival but for growth, learning, and collaboration. Captain Elias Varn stood on a balcony, overlooking the glowing oceans below. Beside him, Lyra's hand rested lightly on his. The preparations are nearly complete, she said, her telepathic voice gentle but firm. Soon the first hybrid children will be born. Elias nodded, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. Humanity had always thrived on challenge, but this was unlike anything they had faced before. These children would represent not just life. They would symbolize cooperation, intelligence, and the merging of two species' best qualities. The humans and aliens worked side by side, blending technologies and knowledge. Human engineers helped modify the floating habitats to support both species' environmental needs. Lyra's people shared biotechnologies that allowed for rapid growth of plants, clean energy, and sustainable life support systems. It's amazing how quickly humans adapt, Lyra said quietly. You think differently, solve problems differently. It's inspiring, Elias smiled. Humans had always taken pride in adaptability, but hearing it from an alien species, one so advanced and wise, filled him with unexpected pride. We've learned from you too. Cooperation goes both ways. In a secure chamber, Elias observed the advanced preparation for the hybrid children. The medical systems integrated human and alien technologies, ensuring safety and monitoring development. It was delicate work. These children would be unique, their biology a blend of traits from two very different species. The first day of birth approached. The city had gathered in respectful anticipation. Lyra's closest kin and the human crew formed a circle of guardians. Silence and reverence filled the chamber as Lyra entered, glowing softly under the crystalline lights. Elias joined her side, holding her hand. Are you ready? He asked. Lyra's eyes reflected calm determination. I have waited for this moment my entire life, and I'm glad you are here, Elias. Hours passed. The process was complex, but Lyra's people were highly skilled and human technology supported them. Finally, a quiet cry echoed, a sound that was neither wholly human nor wholly alien but carried the resonance of both. Elias's eyes widened as he saw the first hybrid child. Its skin shimmered faintly like Lyra's, yet its hands and features bore unmistakably human characteristics. It cooed softly, reaching instinctively for the touch of both parents. They are perfect, Elias whispered. Lyra nodded, a soft glow radiating from her skin. They are more than perfect. They are the bridge between our species. They carry potential we have never seen before. Over the next weeks, more hybrid children were born. Each displayed unique abilities, heightened intelligence, empathy, adaptability, and even subtle bioluminescent traits from Lyra's people. Humans watched in awe. These children were proof of what humanity could achieve when they approached the unknown with courage, respect, and cooperation. Yet the challenges were not over. A nearby system harbored a hostile alien species, one that had resisted contact with both humans and Lyra's people. They saw the growing hybrid population as a threat and launched an attack on the orbiting settlement. The alarm system blared. Elias, trained for crisis, immediately coordinated a defense. Human warships moved into formation, utilizing alien technology to enhance shields and weapons. Lyra's people used telepathic coordination to optimize defensive strategies. This is what humans do best, Elias thought. We adapt under pressure. The battle was fierce. Energy beams streaked across space and alien projectiles struck the outer shields. Humans and aliens worked seamlessly, anticipating each other's moves. Elias piloted a vessel personally, protecting the most vulnerable sections of the settlement. During the fight, the hybrid children remained safe in a secure chamber, protected by advanced shields and guardians. Watching the children, Elias felt a surge of determination. This was not just a battle for survival, it was a battle for the future. The enemy underestimated the humans. Their creativity, quick thinking, and relentless courage turned the tide. They used the environment, unpredictability, and combined intelligence to neutralize the attackers. One by one, the enemy ships retreated, leaving the settlement intact. When the battle ended, the city was quiet except for the hum of shields and repair systems. Humans and aliens alike breathed deeply, realizing the danger had passed. Elias stood next to Lyra, looking out over the city. "We did it," he said. "Together," Lyra smiled. "Yes, this is the promise of our future. Humans are not just survivors. They are partners, guardians, and builders. These children, they are proof of that." As the hybrid children grew, both humans and aliens began teaching them. The children learned human problem-solving skills, curiosity, and resilience. They also absorbed Lyra's people's wisdom, empathy, and environmental harmony. Every day they became more than the sum of their parts, a living example of cooperation, ingenuity, and hope. One day, Elias and Lyra watched as the oldest hybrid child solved a complex problem in the city's learning hall. The child combined human logic with alien perception to create a device that improved energy efficiency for the entire settlement. Humans cheered. Lyra's people glowed with pride. Elias whispered to Lyra, "This is only the beginning. They will do more than we can imagine." Lyra nodded. "And humans will continue to inspire. You have shown us that courage, empathy, and adaptability are qualities that can shape the stars themselves." Months passed, and the settlement became a symbol in the galaxy. Word of the hybrid children spread. Other species came to observe, learn, and collaborate. Humans were recognized not only for exploration and technology, but for their ability to connect, understand, and thrive alongside alien species. Elias reflected on the journey. From the first moment he met Lyra in the glowing forests, he had been tested, challenged, and transformed. Humanity's strengths, curiosity, courage, adaptability, and empathy had not only earned respect but had helped forge a new future. Lyra stood beside him, watching the children play among the glowing gardens and floating platforms. "You chose me, Elias," she said softly. "But it seems, in truth, we chose each other, and together we chose the future." Elias smiled. "Humans always rise to challenges, and this is our greatest achievement yet." As the twin moons rose over the glowing oceans, the city shimmered like a beacon of hope. Humanity had proven itself again, not through conquest but through understanding, cooperation, and courage. The hybrid children laughed and played, their presence a living testament to the potential of humans and aliens working together. And so, the story closed on a bright, promising future. The stars above were no longer distant and cold. They were alive with potential, filled with opportunity for growth, cooperation, and shared triumph. Elias, Lyra, and the hybrid children stood as symbols of what humanity could achieve when courage, empathy, and ingenuity met the unknown. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and wonders. But with humans as partners, allies, and builders, the future looked brighter than ever.